So, what I want to know, and we're going to add is, I mean, a lot of this, it says fractions, decimals, and percentages. Our focus at the moment is percentages, okay? So I want to know that you're happy with what a percentage means. Remember those three questions I put at the top of that sheet the other day for the notes we did in our book. What does a percentage mean? What does it look like? What does it represent? That kind of thing. Okay, so this worksheet is a bit, I mean, it's got, like I said, fractions and things in it, and it just says to shade in 1/3 of it. Right? Is there anyone that's not sure what 1/3 of this diagram would be? No? All good? So if we had to shade in 1/3, we would just do what? Well, you can't say shade, be a bit more descriptive. One of these rectangles. Okay, so we're going to shade in one of those rectangles. Now, when I say I want to do a little bit extra than just that, because that is a bit, maybe a bit simple in that case. Well, I would like to know also, what would that be as a percentage? Yep. 33.33. Okay, so this would be 33 and 1/3%. Okay, remember doing that last time? Yep. Now, what's also useful for me is I would like, and we're going to run out a little bit of route, but it's the thing to do. You're all right, Dash? You with me? All right. I remember we had those bars, and I said to you, right, make it an amount, so 100% is an amount. So if I were to make this box, all right, worth an amount, and that amount would be 100%. If I only had 33.33%, how much would that be? That's what I want to do. So, for instance, I would like you, just someone, to tell me, what would a good 100% be for this diagram? So, just give me a number. How much? Just a number, an amount. Because I think you get, we need to be able to split it into three, don't we, easily? Aaron, what do you think? 150. So if we made 100% 150 things, yeah? What would 33.333% be in my head? Do you know that? Oh, I asked you and I caught you out. The jump. Yeah? Maybe I need to ask you another question in a minute. We'll go to, what would it be? 50. So this would be 50. This would also be 50, and this would be 50. Because if 100% is 150, 50, 50, 50, and we know that 50 is 33.33%. Okay? You might be finding this quite easy, but I want to really be sure that you know what it means. Okay. Next one, again, is a fraction. So I'm going to leave that one to you in a sec, but we're going to now look at 0.8 is a decimal. All right. How could we solve this one?
0.8 actually means 0.8.
Oh, okay. So we could do 0.80. Okay.
That's the same thing. So 0.8. So if that's 100, so it'll be 100.
So this whole box is 100%. Not 100, 100%.
100%.
Okay.
So basically, it would be like, it would be divided into 2.
Well, how many boxes have we got here? 5. So how much is each bit worth? How much?
0.8.
How many? Well, we're getting mixed up. How many percentages is each bar worth? 20%. Okay. So that would be 20%. This would also be 20%, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would only 20%.
And What is that as a decimal then?
Oh, 0.2.
Well done. 0.2. So how many of the 20% do we need to make the 0.8? So 4 of them, yeah? So if we're going to shade in, we're actually going to shade in. No, it's not 4.5. It's actually exactly 4, because 4 lots of 20% make 80%. And we can see that the decimal being 0.8 actually means 80%. Now again, if I have an amount that is 100% and I want to easily, I'm not saying you can't do it with any amount, what would a nice amount be if I was given that to be able to work out 80% of it? Aaron? 200. Okay? You've given me some very nice, easy ones. So if 100% is 200, what would 80% be? Yeah, John?
80% would be 160.
Why?
Because so basically you're dividing 200 by 8 or 80. No, 8.
You're dividing 200 into how many blocks?
5.
5. What's 200 divided by 5? How much? 40. So this would be 40, 40, 40, 40, and 40. So 80% of 200 is 160. Okay? 80% of. Now, I've added that number in, haven't I? I've kind of just thought, what? And I've chosen a number that is easy to find 80% of. Alright? And I've done it by having lots of 20%. Nice and easy one to do. Alright? Any questions over what we're doing? Is there anyone thinking, I don't really know what you're doing here? No? Everyone good? Making sense? So what do I want from you now for the remaining time? Well, you've got the rest of the sheet. Now, it's up to you how you go about doing this, but you are, not only are you going to shade in, I think that's a bit too easy for you guys, I think just that, but if you are struggling, that might be your first step, is just to make sure you know how many. What I then want you to do is what we've just done, which is to say, right, make sure, well, that one's a percentage anyway, so that's easy, we don't need to change it into percentage, but I would like you to say, right, what would 100% be? Come up with a number that you think is easy to split up that way, and then write 75%, and then write what 75% is. So, for instance, I will do this, but you're not allowed to use my answer. You've got to have a different one. So, for instance, I know that 75% is, if I split 100 into 4 pieces, I need 3 of them. So I need a number that can be split into 4 pieces. So I'm going to pick a number and say 8. So if 100% is 8, each bit is worth 2, 2, 2, and 2. So 75% is 6. So you're not allowed to use that one. You have to do a different one for yourself. But I would like you to do the same thing for all of those diagrams, please.
What about the fractions?
Well, as I said, the fractions you've now got to convert into percentages as well. So where it's a percentage, fine, leave it as a percentage. Where it's a fraction or where it's a decimal, I would like you to try and convert that in. Maybe first step would just be to shade them in first. Question? You can work together, that's fine, it's not a test, yeah. Happily let you work together as long as you are. Make sure you ask for help if you really need it. Don't struggle for 5 minutes without putting anything down on paper. Try not to work avoid, if you know what I mean. If you're struggling, ask for some help. Don't sit there and doodle and wait for something to miraculously happen, because it won't. Okay? Just ask for help. So, some of these were nice and simple to turn into percentages. Alright? Some of them were a bit harder. Does anyone want to offer which ones were harder to write as percentages? Matt?
5 out of 9, 7 out of 12.
Okay, so the 7 out of 12, we think, let me just, maybe I can, this one, yeah, bit harder. Any others? Yeah, Zeb?
I'm wondering, could I solve?
No, I've asked a specific question. Micah?
The last question was 15%.
So again, well, that one is a percentage, but you said it was hard to colour it in, was it? Yeah? That, you thought that one was hard, okay? Any others that people think were harder to write as a percentage? Maybe not shading in the diagram. What about this one, 7/9? Was that harder to write as a percentage?
Yeah.
I think so. It's because, guys, the number, right, each one of these diagrams has to represent, are we all paying attention? We look at the board. Each one of those diagrams represents how much? Don't nod, that's not a nodding question. Each diagram is worth how much? Aaron? 100%. Each one, before you've shaded it in, each one has to be worth 100%. So to figure out what one section is, we've got to divide 100% by the number of sections, yeah? So there are certain ones that are harder to come up with. Because, for instance, this little box there, the 1/9, I'm going to go colourful, not wooden. Right? This 1/9, well, if the whole thing is 100%, we've got to do 100% divided by 9, and you get, each bit must be 11.11, like 1 recurring percent, which is not an easy one. Did you all come up with the same sort of answer, yeah? Now, that's actually not too bad. I mean, it's not lovely, but it's not too bad. I think one of the worst ones for me, because I was just sat there with Annabelle doing it, this one here is a bit rubbish. Because if the whole box is worth what, Dash?
100%.
Thank you, 100%. I've got to divide 100% by 7. So 100% divided by 7. Did anyone do that?
I took a while. I got 7 and
What's 100 divided by 7?
14 by 7.
Okay, so it's 14.285. It goes on. Anyone remember what that kind of number is called? It's an irrational number. So that's actually each bar is worth, and I'm going to round it, 14.3%, which is quite a tricky one, right? So some of them are going to be harder to do than others. But we're getting there. Sophie. Okay. Would you like to share? But did you know what percentage it is? So for instance, you have said we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what percentage have I got now? It would be 5 lots of 14.3%. Yeah? I'm going to let you go last because you're the only one that's packed everything up. Everyone else is making notes, which you all, I'm I'm proud of you. You know, everyone else is still going, so well done. I know you want to go to recess, but I just need a bit. But well done. So we've just got 5 lots. So that was a tricky one. So when we are going to calculate more percentages, some of them are going to be easier to do, some of them are going to be harder to do. Okay? All right, so I'll pause for a